Your nose is fine.
It's itchy.
You about to sneeze?
I lost it because I thought about it too hard.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Did you enjoy sneezing? Like, do you
doesn't?
Like, my friend Josh. He says it hurts, but he also like holds it in. And watching him sneeze looks painful too, actually, because he's like, I'm like, dude, your head's gonna pop or something. Like, come on, man, let it out.
I had Jonah Hill flash in my head from Get Him to the Greek. Oh, he's holding the drugs in his ass for.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze. He's like, don't, you're being selfish. Don't sneeze. I think I broke a rib.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're being selfish, Aaron. You're being selfish. There's some good moments in that movie. No.
Jonah Hill just actually has like a really good like
he's just
capacity to like have like a freak out like that. Like, and I was thinking about this the other day, super bad, because one of my food drop offs, the guy's name was Muhammad, and I was just thinking back to Superbad when McLovin was like, it was like they chose. Why'd you choose the name McLovin? It just says McLovin. There's not even a last, just McLovin. He's like, it was either between that or Muhammad. Why the fuck are we between that and Muhammad? Muhammad's the most common name in the world. We're going to read a book every once in a while. It's a dumb fucking name. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Get energy going.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. How do you not know your Miranda rights? You're a cop.
What is that from?
21 Jump Street.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You see,
Because Channing Tatum can't remember. That's what he's having troubles with.
Yeah.
You have the right to not move or something. Like, are you trying to?
He says like you have a right to suck my dick.
Yeah, that's what he says. Hey, everybody. We all do.
I think that's what he says.
Welcome. We are now into July. Happy 4th of July. It's a lie. I don't believe in America's freedom. We're not free.
Very Ron Swanson over there. I'm a libertarian. Great,
Anyway.
she's 8.
That's right. Well, if you guys didn't see what the name of the movie was, and you're now listening to this blindly,
Enemy Mine. Okay, am I supposed to pick up that? We are doing 1985's Enemy Mine.
yeah. Which I didn't realize that it was the same year as Star Chaser. Which it seems like I've watched like 80s movies from like 85 and 87, and like or 1981. You know. Anywho, but yeah,
I'm actually pretty excited to talk about this. This is one of those we did one I had seen and hadn't seen, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I'd never seen it, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
I can't. Yeah, we'll talk about it. What do you want to give a quick little synopsis of what Enemy Mine is?
A human and reptilian alien must put aside their differences on a hostile planet to survive.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this movie is.
And it's weird.
Yeah, but it's
cool.
Yeah, it's great for the 80s.
Yeah,
it's a hidden gem from the 80s.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
it's cool. Yeah.
I want to point this out because the next movie as well, but it's it was number 70 domestically in the box office. Just blah blah blah. But how many movies for 85 did it change from Star Chaser?
It went down to 13 from 16.
Okay.
But there's something I realized that I was doing, and I just wasn't paying attention, so that also might be messing with my numbers. As I was counting those re-releases, which I was like, I shouldn't be doing that.
And I'm not counting. I don't count the re-releases.
Yeah. So I never actually really noticed the re-release thing underneath the title.
Yeah.
Until 3 years later, until this time. So I think that's what it was.
Well, that would only add like maybe 1 or 2 a year sometimes.
Yeah. So, but I think there were 3 on this one. There were 3 re-releases.
I know there was Gremlins. I think I saw was one of them.
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
And I think one of the Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I was like,
and they always did a re-release the year like right before like the next one was coming out. So Yeah, I was like, I had 21 on Orin, and I counted 20 on this one, so I was like 20-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Do you have anything special about this one before we get into talking about director and like getting into all the stuff?
No.
Okay.
Weird. The release was December 20th. That's a weird release date for this particular kind of movie.
Well, it's not really a blockbuster.
No, I know, but it feels more like a summer flick.
Yeah.
Not
Well, that's
really.
what I mean by like.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like a Christmassy.
I think that's just like when it was just best, like they were just trying to get it out there, especially like the production history with this.
Yeah, I just think that they should have halted until it could have come out in '86.
Yeah.
Earlier in springtime. Or like a spring or summer movie.
Yeah. Well,
still, I gotta say, people that sing that song at my work
at karaoke
and people don't know what it is the funniest reaction.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Just some dude for springtime for Hitler. People are like, "What the hell is this?"
Dude, even like there's a couple times where I've just been kind of like casually just like singing it, walking down the street, and someone's like, "What the?" I'm like, "Yeah, I shouldn't sing."
Yeah, you shouldn't. It's from the producers, if anyone's.
Mein Kampf. Sorry. All right.
I saw a video of a grandpa or something giving their grandson.
Yep, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Minecraft.
All right, let's focus on that.
But he wanted Minecraft.
No, Minecraft, not Mein Kampf. Where did you get this?
Where did you even get this? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So this movie actually kind of had an interesting production history. So originally, the director was Richard Loncrane. And looking at his stuff, he's done more like TV stuff, I saw. I think that's what it was. I don't know.
I didn't look up the.
He was like in production for like a month or so, and then the producers were all like, "This isn't what we wanted," and he was like, "Well, this is what I'm doing.
This is what I did."
And so they put the entire shoot on hold, and then they were talking with Wolfgang Peterson, who came in to do it, but he was like, he was at this time doing the Never-Ending Story, which we did. And they were like, that's fine, just finish up that and come over here. Like, we need your mind, pretty much. So this movie was then redirected and now officially directed by Wolfgang Peterson, who, yes, we did with Never-Ending Story already. He's also did like Troy and Outbreak.
Air Force One.
Mm-hmm. Get off my plane.
I realized I had seen a lot of his movies and I forgot about that. Passed away actually last year. But I also like that they did Perfect Storm and Poseidon, which I felt like is just kind of like the same movie but updated, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They're like, hey, we had it in the 90s, let's have it in the 2000s.
I think their biggest critical claim, is Das Boot. Which
yes,
the boat. World War II. Kind of.
Yeah. They directed a movie called Shattered, which I wanted to add to the list.
Oh, okay.
Which we can talk about later. It sounded interesting. Has a really low score. It was the cast that got
you.
Yeah.
Fair. And then let's do screenplay, and then we can talk about the actual like science fiction writer.
Okay.
Screenplay of this was adapted by Edward Kharma, who
did one of your other favorites.
Yeah, Lady Hawk. Mm-hmm. And then also the Merlin TV series.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. And then also Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee thing.
I love that movie, actually.
I've never seen it.
It's really cool. It's really good.
Check it out.
It's got a really cool sequence. It fictionalizes Bruce Lee's life a little bit. There's like moments where the idea of him like passing away, he's like haunted by demons on set, and there's like this whole thing where he's like actually fighting like a demon through like this like hall of mirrors, and it's like him like on set. Like,
how does Bruce Lee die?
I can't remember.
I can't either. I just realized that. No, Brandon Lee died, obviously.
But yeah.
And then I just want to like shout out, like you said, Merlin, for people to know. It's a cool little TV miniseries.
ABC or was it NBC?
I don't remember.
It was TV. It was TV.
Yeah.
Maybe it was sci-fi. I don't know.
What's his name that plays Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park? I can't remember his name. I can't remember.
That was a face.
But he plays Merlin, and it's about Merlin's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't remember it. I think I watched it.
It's so 90s.
Oh, well, I watched it when it was coming out with my mom. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think people our age would probably dig it. I don't know
Yeah.
if a younger crew would.
but the story of this movie is based off of a 1979 novella written by Barry B. Longyear, who he's not as big as like some other science fiction writers that we've done in the past, or that have had movies that we've done in the past.
And he is the cousin to Buzz Lightyear, if anyone was curious. I just did that to get a reaction.
Because Longyear and Lightyear?
Barry
Barry?
Lightyear.
But it's Longyear.
I know, but Barry Longyear and Buzz Lightyear. It was a joke. It wasn't a good one.
You're reaching.
Yeah. It wasn't a good joke.
Stop it. Bad.
She's hey, focus.
The biggest thing that I noticed this book itself won 2 awards: the Hugo Award and the Nebula Science Fiction Award. Mm-hmm. So, like this had like notoriety going into. Did you see the cool like graphic of like what the original like science fiction that it was on, science fiction magazine it was in?
What was the name of the magazine again?
I didn't write it down. I think I could find it.
Isaac
really
Asimov.
Isaac
Asimov's Isaac Asimov Science Fiction Magazine.
Yeah. And the reptile looks like a lizard, and the dude and Davidge looks super old. Oh, man. And one of the things that I also noticed from Barry Longyear wrote was he wrote 2 of the books in the novel series based off of Alien Nation, which I don't know. Alien Nation is another 80s science fiction movie that I remember liking a lot as a kid. It was turned into a short television series and then turned into a book series. But the whole idea of Alien Nation is these aliens have immigrated into human life a little bit. And so there's a bunch of, hot topic racism and stuff like that with them, this alien race trying to fit in, but it follows an alien or a detective and his partner who is also an alien. I think they're both detectives. Maybe they're just cops, but like them, like doing the cop thing. It's a drama.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool story, bro.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. You would like it.
Okay.
Anywho. Do you want to move into starring then?
Yeah, I mean it's short. It's a short list of.
Yeah, it really is.
Starring. I mean, so our lead is Daddy Dennis Quaid.
There you go. Come on. Have we done a Dennis Quaid movie yet? I don't think we have.
I usually, if we did, no. No, we've talked about him though because I've brought up Inner Space quite a few times.
Yeah, and
which is one of my.
I feel like we've brought up Dragonheart.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah. Because that's also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Pandorum, which I forgot about. That movie's cool.
That's a great movie.
That's a cool movie.
Yeah. He's got an interesting, like, wide breadth of a career.
Yeah,
actually.
like he's been in some. Because he also he's one of those. He's really famous, but
yeah. Well, he has 106 acting credits.
Yeah.
And like I was looking at one of his breakthrough roles was this movie called Dreamscape. It's like this is like 1983 or 84. It's right before this one. He has like the ability to enter people's dreams, and so they have him go into the dreams of the president to get them to stop being scared of something, or I can't fully remember. But then he ends up like unfolding like an assassination plot on the president because of it. Sounds.
Oh, he's really young.
Very young. Very, very. I mean, he's young as fucking this, but like he's young in that. And then straight like
People's Dreams is recruited by a government agency to help cure the president of his nightmares about nuclear war, but stumbles upon an assassination attempt.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yeah.
And then a fun one for me that I wanted to point out was a Netflix sitcom that he did called Merry Happy Whatever, where he plays like the I'm gonna protect my daughter type dad. And it's Brent Morin, that fucking comedian that I always try to get you to watch his special. He plays the son or the guy coming over, like wanting to propose to the daughter, and Dennis Quaid doesn't like Brent Morin because Brent Morin's a soft millennial, and Dennis Quaid's a man's man. And it's actually it's funny. Hijinks can ensue. Imagine that. But it's got a little bit of heart to it as well.
Day After Tomorrow. God, yeah, he's in
a lot of fucking.
He's in a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's like I was noticing is like his like beginning of his career was kind of like more like sci-fi ish, and then it became more grounded, and then he just kind of he's just all over the place. Like I can't really think of many other actors that have such a wide breadth of like different genres under their belt, you know?
Well, now he's just going to be dad. I feel like.
Or
he's a
dog's journey, the dog's story.
He has 7 upcoming things too.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's all right. Go Dennis. We were talking about him yesterday, and she goes, "That's the one with the goofy brother, right?" I was like, "Yeah." They named one Dennis and the other one Randy. Like they knew what was going on.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like Randy Quaid, he's awesome, but yeah, he's goofy.
I'm trying not to. Like, my brain is like going into quoting a bunch of Randy Quaid stuff. I'm like, nope. Stay focused on Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine. Let's move on to the next actor.
Oh yeah, Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah, who has 196 acting credits. And I've seen him in a lot of things, I feel like, but I'm looking at his. I was like going. It's hard to go through 196 acting credits and really pinpoint the ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's been 209. That's crazy.
He won an Oscar for his role in a movie called An Officer and a Gentleman, which I've heard of that movie.
I've heard of that movie.
And one of them that I just wanted to point out was the 1989 Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher.
I saw that. I recognize him from the Watchmen TV series.
I never finished that.
You never know. Yeah.
I got like halfway through the second episode.
It's good.
Yeah, no, I just like I don't know why. I think I was just every time I tried to watch it, I was just a little bit too drunk.
And also, funny enough, he's Lucius in the Batman series that I just was talking about.
Brave and the Bold?
No, the Batman.
The Batman, that's right.
Which I couldn't remember. I just finished that.
I can't remember if it was the Batman or Brave and the Bold that you've just done.
I can't sit through the Brave and the Bold. It's too much of that Adam West DNA.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I think it's Brave and the Bold, where he's gonna he's gonna fight like Poison Ivy or something, and she's like, "You wouldn't hit a girl, would you?" And he's like, "The fist of justice is not sexist," or something like what this. He has these weird like,
"The fist of justice does not see gender."
Yeah. Stuff. He has these weird one-liners where you're just kind of like, it's very, very, justice is not blind. It's just really it's so, like a caricature of
a caricature of a caricature.
Yeah. I remember sitting through a couple episodes.
It's like a hat wearing another little hat. That's actually accurate. Sorry.
And it just it.
And then the young kid in this is Bumper Robinson, who more had like a on-camera career through like the 80s and early 90s, and then transitioned into more voice actor. I noticed.
I saw that, yeah.
And he played Cyborg in my favorite in the DC story. It's Doom. I fucking love that one so much. I think that's the best the best animated DC movie that's ever come out. Honestly,
Doom.
Yeah. I just think it's like,
which one is Doom?
That's the one where
is that with Savage?
Yeah, and he gets all Batman's
his constituency plans, and he makes them lethal. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good one.
That one's great.
Alfred, someone's attacking the Justice League. Who? Me.
I know, especially like at the end of it when they're talking, the Justice League's like, "How could you have all of this on us?"
And he's like, "You're not stupid if you don't."
Yeah, he's like, "You're a god. You can travel through time. You can do this, and you can do this. and I'm a human. What do you expect me to do?
Oh, funny enough, he's in Batman the Brave and the Bold as Black
I
Lightning.
think maybe that's why I saw it. Oh, that's right. That's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just really quick shout out to Brian James.
Yeah, which
because
is cool.
it's our third movie that we've done with him in it. Blade Runner, Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, he's the lieutenant dude. Yeah, that gets frozen. Yeah.
Yeah. So and he passed away in 1999.
Yeah, a long time ago. I didn't realize that. I don't know. We probably talked about it when we talked about him, but
maybe a Fifth Element or either one. I think it's one of those things we always say. He was in stuff that we liked. Do you think he's still around?
He's not.
But he's not
For a long time.
Sad day. But he's a good bad guy.
Oh, he's yeah. Was that Ready to Die? Was that what he says in Blade Runner? Yeah.
Do you have anything else really quick, or can we? You ready to move into your reviews, and so we can get into talking about this movie?
So on Metacritic. Do you want to do your scores?
Yeah. Let's do that real quick. It's pretty kind of like average, a little high average. IMDb, it's got a 6.8 rating, and then the Rotten Tomatoes scores is a 59% tomato meter and a 68% audience score. So this is much more of like an audience appreciated movie, which makes sense. Makes sense enough for me.
Well, because it has like a cult following now.
Yeah.
So Metacritic, there are 5 positive, 2 mixed, and 2 negative. For the positive, I picked 80 out of 100 with Rita Kempley at the Washington Post. If you're a if you're a science fiction fan, and I am, Any Mine is fun diversion, maintaining a precarious balance between laughable and melodramatic. But you do get the feeling they had hope for an earth-shattering metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, for the mixed, Dave Kerr at Reader was 60 out of 100. In trying to cover so many bets, Peterson has created a film without an identifiable style or subject of its own.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
In trying to cover so many bets, Peterson has created a film without an identifiable style or subject of its own.
I don't really agree with that.
I picked that one because that one was actually credited. The other mixed said staff not credited.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like it is very much. I mean, it's kind of generic in a sense of style, I guess. Like it's not like stylized like the Ever-Ending Story was, you know. But I mean, no, I feel like it's got an identity.
I guess I could bring this up now. I guess this kind of fits into that. I think a lot of the time with sci-fi too, and this is where it can go wrong, is when you do a sci-fi movie that is based on
like a book or a story.
No, in our timeline, but in the future.
Oh yeah.
It's like Star Wars was a really smart idea to make it this entire...
There was a galaxy a long, long time ago.
Far away.
Yeah.
Because it's even, like when they first crash land and he's holding his little pistol. It's like just a normal gun. That makes it too grounded in this like...
Yeah.
Makes it grounded in reality. And especially as it gets older,
It's the aging.
It makes it age really bad.
Yeah.
So I think that's always like kind of like...
Well, even just like him, like the Mickey Mouse thing.
Yeah.
It's like Mickey Mouse was a lot bigger in the 80s than he is now.
Yeah. Because even then, because Star Trek is in our future, but it's so far in the future
that you can play around like any.
You can play around.
Just make sure nothing looks like a modern thing.
Yeah.
As best as you can.
Yeah. And then the negative, Janet Maslin at the New York Times with a 30 out of 100. A costly, awful-looking sci-fi epic with one of the weirdest storylines ever to hit the screen.
Was that written in 1985?
I think probably. I'm assuming they're talking about the self. Yeah, it was written in 1985.
Actually, because I feel like for 1985, the special effects for this movie are actually pretty damn good.
I mean, Drac looked cool.
Drac looks great.
Or Jeremy? What do they call him? Jerry.
Jariba.
I don't know. From it being a review from 1985, what I'm assuming they're talking about, it might be the self-pregnancy thing. That
Yeah, they're asexual.
Yeah, that scene was pretty weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could really like. the weirdest storylines because it's not. It's like I don't know. It's just a generic. My enemy, my ally due to circumstance.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I feel like it's not. I mean, for especially when it's. I mean, clearly, like the metaphor of racism in it is very much like obvious, and I think even now, much more in a modern lens, it's even more obvious, you know. But I feel like in 1985, that was kind of like people. It was a little bit more just like, oh, this is kind of like a cool way to like look at this and approach this, you know.
I cannot imagine how uncomfortable Drax's makeup was.
Oh, dude, yeah.
In 1985, that much of like stuff on your that probably was mind-numbingly annoying.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing that I was just kind of like finding really interesting was because the whole idea about it being with race and whatnot. It wasn't so much about race as for them as it kind of turned to them sharing their cultures together as well. You know, when he started teaching him the book, you know, and it was like it's not just like about the race. It's also about the religion. It's about the beliefs. It's about who they are inherently as people, and it became much more about just race. Does that make you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I also like too that I thought I was kind of worried they were going to be like just Jerry was going to learn English.
Yeah.
But then he ended up learning their...
It became more important in a sense for him to be learning what the Drac language was than for Jerry to be learning English.
This movie is really long though.
Hour and 40?
Hour and 50.
Was it 50? Yeah. Well,
it just starts off like...
yeah.
It's kind of a drag.
Well, I mean, 1985. Like, what's weird is like the things that kind of like pulled me out was the hard shifts in the narrative. Where I was feeling like it was a weird time jump or something. And then the weird narration that Dennis Quaid had at the beginning and through the middle of it. And then at the very end, like, and then he went and he spoke the language of the Drac to the people and spoke the heritage for... What's the kid's name? What would they name him?
Zimmer? Zimmies? I didn't write it. It's Zammies.
Zammies, yeah. And it was like, and I'm like, why is the narration now not Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, it made me think of, it definitely made me think of like Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty. And that's the way it was. Yeah. And that's the way, I like it.
I actually think this movie has a great remake potentiality.
That's what I was going to say, because I also was reading another review and they were talking about Dune, and again, going into the sci-fi thing of it's so removed that you can do anything you want with it. Everyone's all pissed off about like all these remakes and everything, but every now and then you do find one like Enemy Mine. You could make it so cool. You could do
a really, really great either movie or a short
miniseries.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I mean, yeah, all of this whole remake shit. So what keeps happening is Hollywood keeps remaking this stuff that it's like, why are we remaking Harry Potter into a TV series right now?
Why are we remaking Lilo and Stitch?
Why are we remaking anything Disney has fucking done?
Yeah. Why are any of their live actions? Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like there's this plethora of like underlooked or underrated just like gems of like the 70s and the 80s, and it's like this could use a facelift.
Well, because even then, it's like the whole concept is, so to like we were saying, it's these opposing forces that crash and land on this hostile planet, and they need to learn to work together, or they're both going to die. And throughout the series, it's them. It's like you can like dive in so much more to the survivalist thing, like Yellow Jackets. And you could really explore this planet.
Like, it's we do have like good moments in this movie where that is like them against the environment around them, like the planet that they're on, which strangely has oxygen. But
I think it's also weird that neither one of these societies can find them.
Yeah, right.
It's like, isn't the space station like right there? It's like right there. Like
they're not looking because they think they crashed and died. Probably, I don't know.
But don't you want to fight?
I know.
They look for the bodies.
Eat the damn carrot.
yeah. But I was just like, because they're on the planet for 3 years. I'm like, not once did they look for them,
right? Fuck. Oh yeah. So yeah, this planet has a constant like meteor showers. Like it doesn't. It rains meteors. And then there's like the fucking weird creature in the ground.
Oh, the Sarlacc.
Sarlacc,
pit.
yeah.
Yeah, it was very like
that's a little on the nose.
Yeah, it was really on the nose.
I remember as a kid that kind of freaking the hell out of me. Like that thing scared me.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
It's also that's like the most violent moment. It's like ripping apart his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Go a little higher. That's all I can think of actually now thinking about it.
Go a little higher. What?
When Solo's like trying to help.
Oh yeah.
A little higher. He's like, I'm good. I got you.
Yeah. And that's actually there's constant moments where, this movie has wonderful performances. Like Dennis Quaid and Louis or Lewis. Is it Lewis? Louis Gossett? Yeah, Lewis. Louis Gossett Jr. Their performances in this are fucking really, really good.
He's great too. Lewis is awesome because it's like you just believe he's this alien.
Yeah, no, his physical work and I don't know how much of that was post work for audio, but the makeup looked great too. Like the way
even his teeth. They
Yeah.
gave him this beak
yeah.
tooth thing. Mm-hmm. And he had these little spots here that would
air
pulsate.
sacs.
Yeah, that would pulsate in his ears too.
Mm-hmm.
But all that made me think was when I was like, man, that's really cool. It's probably really uncomfortable.
Yeah, right.
It's like this is probably brutal.
But I mean, I feel like this movie does a really good job of it does have this sense of that generic sense at the very beginning. It's like America's good, Earth is good.
I didn't feel that.
And you didn't?
No, I felt because I found Dennis Quaid. What's his name? Willis
Davich,
yeah, Davidson, right? What is this?
Davich.
Well, that's what he calls him.
Oh, is it? I thought that was just his name.
No, that's with his accent. That's what he calls him.
No, it's Davich.
He calls him Dawich.
Ah.
Yeah, he calls him Dawich. Yeah, so Will Davidge. I find he's and that's the thing I was gonna say. Is I think he's supposed to be unlikable. He gets his fucking co-pilot killed from being
You want to be the hero of the day.
Yeah. Then he crash lands.
Oh, also that that death scene. Don't call her that bad name.
Don't call her fat anymore.
Yeah. Because
the white balloon.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
She's actually really nice.
She lost 20 pounds.
It's what is this? What is happening?
Thank you for pointing that out because that was so. Don't call her the white balloon.
It's as that moment.
She has a great personality.
The 80s trying to be progressive into fat shaming.
It's so weird. But even but she lost 20 pounds. So
while that scene was happening, I was thinking, God damn it, Tommy's going to lose so much interest with just this moment right here.
Yeah, I was like, why are we doing this?
Just keep going, it gets better.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. But yeah, it's I find him so unlikely. Maybe at the time that was supposed to be the
Well, I kind of took it as it's the they've set up this idea of that the Dracs are the bad guys, but even as they're describing the Dracs they had settled places and then the humans are and now we want to settle here too. Even in the narration, it's the way that you're describing this sounds like space colonialism. And you're trying to take something that somebody else has already, but since they're humans, they deserve it. It's kind of a little bit obvious or overbearing, I guess is the word I'm looking for or thought I'm looking for, of colonialism. That's what
because even
that's what Barry is talking what Barry Longyear I think is writing. That's what he's focusing on in his science fiction, is that his metaphor is the American white person colonialist idea being forced now into this space alien narrative.
Well, it's also even what's his name, Jerry basically calls humans a virus.
Yeah.
That just infect everything. But again, that goes into that whole remake thing. There's so many nuances and story arcs and just lore that you could really dissect and really even I was saying too with the planet, even just the the flora and the fauna, you could really dive in and really make interesting. Because, like, they discovered, he's like, oh, wait, like, these weird little crab creatures live on this planet, so they've evolved to deal with the meteor showers. Let's use their shells as a roof,
building shelter. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And you really dive more into that.
And then the winter comes, and that fucking just wrecks them. That blizzard. So a big thing that we should kind of point out as well is that this movie, it in a sense, it kind of has like a white savior like complex to it because of Davich he's taking the history of this race and then going to pretty much give it to zombies.
Whatever.
Anywho,
let's call him Z.
Yeah, that's fair. It is Davich's story arc through this. Like, he's the consistent main character through it all because Jerry or Jariba, so his species at a certain point they will get pregnant and give birth. I don't know if they're supposed to die though, if that was just because of the circumstance. Like to speak the lineage and whatnot,
Yeah.
Like maybe he was like he wasn't supposed.
I don't think he was supposed to
die.
I don't know though, because also it doesn't open out.
That might have just been like, hey, like, I'm gonna die. You need to save my child inside of me, type thing. Pull out, like, rip me open, and pull out my child. That's one giant C-section. But yeah, so Jerry ends up dying in childbirth essentially, and now we have zombies, and then you get a couple years of Davich raising zombies, but then what's really kind of heartbreaking is zombies is like he sees his reflection and he sees how different he looks from Uncle Davich, as he calls him. He's uncle, but Davich is doing the best that he can to be like, yeah, we're different. Like, I'm a human, you're a Drac, but that doesn't like make us like.
Their relationship's pretty touching.
Yeah,
they actually did a pretty good job on that.
Like, he's trying to like honor Jerry's like lineage and like race on like raising like him as like you to understand like that you're a Drac. It's like, I have 5 fingers, you have 3, and then zombies is like, but I want to have 5, I want to look like you, and it's heartbreaking. You're like,
yeah.
You were lost in thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that whole like, because also because like, I don't know. I have a thought, but I'm not.
Can't wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep talking. Get me off this.
Yeah. So it like obviously like the conflict is them on this planet type thing, but then there's a moment where Davich goes and he discovers that the planet's actually a like junk planet for
scavengers,
for humans to be who use Dracs as slaves.
For
a little bit more like, hey, let's just get the nail in the coffin,
to mine ore. Well, it's also, I thought that was kind of cool too. He keeps having these dreams about spaceships, and lo and behold, he's been hearing them land, and he finally discovers their
little
evidence, of what they're doing. But it's these group called the Scavengers, and they use Dracs as slave labor.
Yeah, and Davich doesn't and then stupidly tells zombies about it. It's like, just tell the kid, like, don't go over there. Like, over that mountain, don't cross that mountain. All right. But why?
Yeah, but like, but okay.
And then the kid's gonna be like, oh, let's go over there anyway. But like,
everything the light touches. And then what does Simba do? Goes to where the light doesn't touch. You know what I mean? Like, he's a kid. Like, he's gonna do whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Just don't bring it
up. So yeah, I mean, essentially, Zamas ends up getting kidnapped, and then in a fight, they like Davich ends up getting saved. Like, they finally find him on the planet 3 years later after getting shot by the scavengers. Yeah. Maybe the scavengers like reported something. I don't know, but
that's fair.
And then he's quickly reinstated, but then he's like, "I gotta go back. Where's my son?"
Government took my baby.
Well, even it's like when he's found and like they're like getting ready to like pretty much burn him. They think he's dead, and then all of a sudden he's alive and he's speaking Drac, and they're like, "Oh my god, he speaks Drac."
That's where that remake comes in handy, because there are just some beats where you're like, yeah, he's been alone. He's been on a planet with the enemy,
yeah,
quote unquote. Now he's speaking their language, and they just like immediately, like you said, reinstate him. It's like, no, let's do a psych eval.
Yeah, right.
Let's keep him under some like observation for a minute.
They're not gonna be like, so why were you speaking Drac? Well, I was on the planet. Me and Jerry became good friends. What's you call him what?
You call him what?
You call the enemy what?
Yeah, like they're just like, yeah, that's fine. But it's like, but even then, even with that like aside too, it's like he's been on a planet with one other individual for 3 years. Give him a psych eval.
You know, there's like going into the end of this movie, one thing I do gotta say is like I do like that it wasn't like all of a sudden Davich was like this all and be all, like gonna be the unifying factor of bringing the Drac and the human race into harmony.
He's a step in that direction.
He is a step in that direction, but he's not like, it wasn't like, and now the humans and the Dracs live in peace together.
Which in the 80s, they could have gone that way.
It could have gone that way,
really quick.
It was more about the personal journey of Davich carrying on the legacy.
Now Davich is not racist against the
pretty
Dracs.
much, yeah. It's him carrying on the lineage of Jerry. And even it's like, and then when Zomas talked to the council, and then Davich, whatever, was and carried into the lineage as well, because he named his kid that. Which I guess Zomas survived their childbirth, like at the end of the narration. That's a weird thing, man. Just like this epilogue, just like, and then he lived and they lived and the lineage continued.
This movie is really weird. Also, I was reading too, it was really popular in the late Soviet Union.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, like it was really like Soviet Union's like, oh. It was like actually, let me just find it real quick. Like reception, is that where it was? Oh, I don't know where never mind. It's fine. I saw that.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh yeah, right here. Originally budgeted $17 million, the film only cost more than $40 million after marketing costs are factored in. Box office failure in the 1985 holiday season, earning a little over $12 million, blah, blah, blah. However, the film was successful in the former Soviet Union, where it became the first Western sci-fi film shown in theaters.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I saw that too, yeah. But yeah, I was like, huh. It's like, are they having some feelings about the Cold War?
I know, yeah. I was just imagine a bunch of Ruskies like, Dennis Quaid, you know? I love that guy. I mean, there's like also I feel like for every weird moment, there's also a really nice moment. Like even though when they're talking about their lineage, and you're getting that tradition from them,
and that was so really cool. I really like how that was brought, was because it was Jariba. He's like, "Tell me your ancestry," and he's like, "What do you?" And Thomas is like, why does it matter? Yeah, why does it matter? And like to understand, it's like, no, where you come from is important. You know, it's like a lot of like, you start to kind of understand is that at the beginning of it, because you're from Davich's perspective, you get this feeling that the Drac race is super violent and aggressive, and you find out through Jerry that they're actually very passive and they're just protecting themselves out of retaliation from the humans attacking them.
Well, yeah, because even when like the narration in the beginning is talking about them being these like reptilian lizard bastards, you imagine like the snarling, you know, the killer croc, you know, kind of thing.
Well, and then even still, just like when you see Jerry get out of his spaceship and he's all like,
oh yeah, he's all
dancing in the rain and
chittering and twitchy,
and it's like this thing's terrifying. In the 80s, I'm pretty sure that was terrifying to see. You're just like, oh my god, it's the creature from the Red Lagoon. But. And then,
he did look a lot like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
But then you start to see like really how soft Jerry is, and then Jerry starts to humble and bring out like this better part of Davich, you know, a more introspective idea, you know.
Well, with Davich too, going into what you were talking about, like America, blah blah. He's very white American, in the sense because there are so many cultures in our world that where ancestry and lineage is a very family is a very ingrained.
Well, and that's what the Dracs are. The metaphor for.
But it's like
non-white people, pretty much.
Well, I mean, like white people like that, like like me. I don't really know a lot about my like heritage and family, you know. Because like when David is talking about it, he as far as he can go back to his grandparents.
Yeah, and only one set.
And he only brings up one set of grandparents. Yeah. And then he's like, Jerry's like, your lineage is very thin or something, or weak or something like that.
But in a very kind of like, not in a like a, in a demeaning sort of way.
No. He's just kind of like, more like just kind of like an observation. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that's it? That's all you know? Okay.
And then he's like, and now I'll tell you mine. And it's like, and then Jerry told me the long lineage of his family and had me repeat it back to him. So then when zombies came, then I could go and recite the language. It's
and then,
like,
well, because and there you go. That's the perfect example. It's like that whole moment is really like a good, like just an interesting like narrative moment. And then it follows with this weird ass narration.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got it. You didn't need to narrate what I... Like, you know, so for every weird moment, for every good moment, there's a weird moment.
Yeah.
Isn't he like knitting at some point for his baby?
Jerry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was right. He's just like, oh.
There's also like, you could throw down some like queer codedness into this whole fucking thing too, you know, if you wanted to, like how they kind of like how the relationship and bond that they get.
I did. Fuck it. I don't care. No, it was like I did want to say it, but I don't give a shit. There was a moment, like in that moment of the movie, I was like, "Oh, it's Brokeback Mountain in space."
Brokeback Space Mountain.
Brokeback Space Mountain. It just popped into my. It was like an intrusive thought, and I was like, "I'm not gonna bring it up," but I let the intrusive thought win.
No, because that would actually be an even more interesting thing to be remade in this modern lens. They would probably lean into that queer codedness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, it doesn't have to. I mean, it could just be, heteronormative, like really, you know.
Well, but the thing, no, because that was the thing too. You wouldn't have to really, if you're just going to look at it from a psychological standpoint.
Yeah,
it wouldn't really have to be anything other than like the one person you're around for 3 years. You're going to create some kind of relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be romantic. It's like it's going to be a different kind of relationship than
it's
you've ever experienced.
It's like a need, not what's
it's just going to be a companionship.
Yeah,
like it wouldn't be. It would just be interesting
dependent.
Yeah, it'd be a dependent. And it'd be interesting too, like if you were to remake it, like actually get like a psychologist and write.
Yeah.
What, like, get them to be like, what would happen in this? Like, do a study basically with them and be like, what would happen?
You can just read studies of people that have been isolated together for long periods of time.
People that crash land on an island or whatever.
You know, the Donner Party.
Sure. Tom Hanks and Wilson. You know, like
the Donner Party.
Tom Hanks in a soccer ball or volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah.
Wilson.
That's still so sad.
It is actually.
I just rewatched that, and I was like, "What is a fucking volleyball?" I'm sorry.
I think also one of the things that kind of like where you can tell that the story just kind of gets a little like rushed and lost is when Dovich goes back to the slavery ship or the miners, the stuff, the scavengers, and how all of a sudden there's like one Drac that zombies has apparently taught English to all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I speak English. He taught me. He's there. If he's still alive. It's like, why isn't Dovich just speaking Drac to these fucking guys?
That's fair. Like, didn't we spend like a year learning this language?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, he can speak to them. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they probably just didn't want to create too much of a Drac language, and then maybe in the book he does speak Drac, but it was like a director and writers. They were like, we need some English in here so we can make the story move forward.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this movie still. I definitely see how it's aged. I can definitely see a little bit of like the obviousness of the metaphor now. I always thought the metaphor was a little bit more subtle.
No.
But I mean, when I watched it when I was a kid, so like as a kid, I'm learning through this metaphor, you know.
I mean, the thing that aged it the most was like the dog fight.
Oh, the actual like space.
The CG was just not.
Like no, it's like, kind of like how the Willow CG that I pointed out. You know, it kind of looks like there's you can see the different layers.
Or even when what's his butt's flying in Neverending Story like that. Yeah. That looks terrible.
It looks very much like pasted onto a background.
Yeah, and they're like, you could tell it's a kid sitting on something and they have a fan in front of them. You know, whoa! I don't know what we turned to R2D2 there, but. That was pretty good. Sorry, I'm weirdly.
You're good. I mean, we can actually probably be wrapping this one up.
I did have a thought before I was bitching about my back. Oh, I did. You know me, I'm a sucker. I loved his makeup. Like I thought he looked so cool.
You and I are both so like would much rather prefer in-camera makeup and in-camera special effects.
How come we've never thought about getting into that?
Getting into
special effects makeup. We're both really into it.
I don't have the creative mind for it.
I would love to make some monsters.
No, you would fucking be great at that. That I'm more the person who put the makeup on me and let me play.
Oh my god. Did I just have like a career epiphany?
I mean,
you're never too old, right?
Yeah, sure.
That was rude. That was so
follow your dreams, Tommy.
That was so rude. Wow. Okay.
Actually, no. I would love to see some of the shit you would create. Though
that'd be like make some monsters. Yeah, I guess that was it. Yeah. Like we both like in like practical.
Yeah. And like this, like especially when it comes to like monster makeup, like Monster Squad. I know you were kind of like, but like I still feel like the Wolfman looks really cool. The creature looked really cool.
Yeah.
This. You know, the alien looks, or the Drac looks super, like, it looks like it could actually exist next to you.
Well, it always made me laugh, too, especially, and this is kind of like for older movies, maybe it was like my dad, or I don't remember who, but I always have this voice in my head of like people like being, I just think it's funny that aliens always are like humanoid. And you're like, well, because they're humans in makeup.
Yeah.
And... You know, like at the time, what are you gonna do? So
it's like, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's a very accurate kind of like thought, though. You know, like,
yeah, it's fair.
You know, it's like when you're doing it on like in like live camera, like in person. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna like have a blob just sitting there? Actually, they've been able to do that now with like.
Well, yeah, now it makes more sense. Well, it's like I'm always thinking like
I'm thinking like Rick and Morty stuff as well. You know, I feel like they've done a really good job of creating like different types of alien species that are just like one is from another dimension, pretty much. You know?
Well, I'm just always thinking too, like in movies like Hellboy 2 and like Men in Black 2 and stuff like that, where you're having these sweeping scenes where you're showing the alien world or the monster world, and you get to see all the different creatures they created. Yeah. You know, I was just like, I remember always being really into that. So I'm just like really surprised I never once in my entire life ever thought about being a special effects artist.
No, yeah.
I'm like, why did that never cross my mind?
You're
like,
being too cool.
I love this shit.
You're being so cool for school. Too cool for school.
Too cool for school, nerd. I don't know what that was. Sorry. All right. Carrot time.
Yeah. I give it I was kind of like, I'm torn between a 3 and a 3.5.
Let's give it a 3.5 for the remake ability.
Okay.
Because it's something that you could really, that extra 5 is like, you could really take this and you could really expand on it. You could give it a facelift. You could do a lot with this property.
Yeah. I think there is enough of a heart and soul inside of it as well. Like the performance, the performances alone, I think, give it that bump up there as well.
Well, also, it's like, it's funny too. It's like,
I just remembered him teaching him football. That was the dumbest scene.
America, fuck yeah.
Right. I was like, 3.5, this fucking dumb scene.
This movie's got a lot of heart. What the fuck? I say 3.5 because it's like, I mean, it was weird about it too. Is I couldn't stand Dennis Quaid in the very beginning, and I don't know if that was the character.
I think that's kind of because you're like, you as an audience member should go through the journey with them. Yeah. So yeah, he's super like, fuck you reptilian bastard, to like, And now I care about their race.
And now he's a daddy.
And now I'm no longer racist.
Now he's Daddy Quaid. I'm going to see how long.
See how long I was just sit there and stare at the camera.
Someone's going to think
I'm not a racist, but
someone's going to think that they paused the episode right there.
Maybe.
You know, in a podcast where you're listening and it goes dead quiet, you're like,
yeah. What happened?
What did I do? My phone died. 3.5.
I can dig it.
Join us next week.
What are we doing next, Tommy?
We're doing my pick, which is 1995's.
Yeah, no.
Funny.
Yeah.
1995's Virtuosity.
Yeah.
Like a sci-fi action.
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't seen this movie.
Pay no heed to the man behind the curtain. All right, yeah. So like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week.
Yeah, there'll be an episode following this week that you can listen to or watch.
You can listen to. All righty.
All right, guys.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.